Hey everyone, what I'd like to do today is talk about controller stick drift, which is unfortunately a problem that most of us will face at one point or another with our controllers. And that problem is that the thumbsticks will not reset back to zero on the X axis and the Y axis, which can be a big problem when you're playing games. So I've got two Xbox controllers here. This is my old one, which has major stick drift. It's really bad. And this is my new controller, the GameSir Kaleid, and that's a Holophix controller. It does not have any stick drift. And I'm going to demonstrate how you can test stick drift yourself with a tool. And it's a free tool, a browser tool, and it is called Hardware Tester Gamepad Tester. So this is a website called Hardware Tester. It's got a few different tools, but the one that we're looking at is hardwaretester.com/gamepad. So hardwaretester.com/gamepad. And this works with any controller and it works with any platform. So you can connect any controller via USB, Bluetooth, 2.4 gigahertz, whatever, as long as you can connect it to your device, tablet, mobile phone, computer. It doesn't matter. As long as you can access it via a browser, and as long as you can connect your controller, it will recognize the controller and will allow you to test it. So the first controller I'm going to test is my broken one. So this is my standard Xbox controller that came with my Xbox Series X. I have replaced the buttons here, but I've not been able to fix stick drift, and over time the issue has just got worse and worse. So if I move the left thumbstick around, you can see it's not resetting back to zero like that. So that's an issue, and it's quite bad. But look at the right thumbstick. It's even worse. So moving this around, look at that. It's not going anywhere back to the zero position. So this has been a major problem for me when playing Call of Duty and other shooters. It's a big problem. And you know, you can set up dead zones and you can try and clean the parts inside and different things, but at this stage, you really have to replace the potentiometer and the thumbstick, or you have to replace the controller. So I'm going to show you the test that they have here, test circularity. And if I hold it properly like this, I'll test the left thumbstick. So I'm getting, it's about 15% there, 15.1, 15.4. So that's the average error. And then I'm going to try the right thumbstick. And when I first did this test, I thought the right thumbstick would be worse because it's not resetting to the zero position at all, not even close to it. But that's roughly the score I'm getting with this controller when I do that test. So like I was saying there, the standard Xbox controller and most controllers in general, they use a potentiometer. And I don't want to go into it in too much detail, but essentially this is a part which has moving parts. It's very cheap to produce, which is why they put it into controllers. Very cheap to replace, so you can pick them up on eBay and Amazon. You can pick up a big bundle of them for under $10, but you do have to do the repair yourself. So it's a bit of a pain, and a lot of people just replace the controller. Now, an alternative to the potentiometer is a Holophix thumbstick part, and that kind of looks like this. So you can see something like that. There's lots of parts like that. They kind of all look the same. You know, if you looked at it, you wouldn't really notice the difference. But yeah, the big difference here is that it's kind of got more of a digital connection. And what that means is that you're not going to suffer from stick drift. That's the idea. And the controller that I've got here is the GameSir Kaleid. It's a wired game Xbox controller, which I've purchased. I managed to pick up for £45. It's been out for about a month or so. And this has Holophix sensing sticks. It's a big selling point for this controller. There's only a few controllers out for Xbox that do have this. And if I show you the website, you can see here that this is one of the selling points. Anti-drift up to 5 million cycles. And basically what they're saying there is instead of your game controller having stick drift after potentially a few months, you should be able to get years out of the controller. You're not going to have those issues. So if we jump over to the Gamepad Tester, and we'll go to the other input, and you can see it's this one here. And with any new controller, you should have it perfect here. So in that regard, it's maybe not a great test. As far as Hall effects in general, I should really revisit this in a year. But you can see this is the controller, and if I move the left stick around, look at that, always back to 0. This is going to make such a difference to my gaming. It's incredible. So yeah, it always goes back to 0. Same with the right thumbstick, no issues at all. And I'm hoping that Hall effects live up to the reputation of not having any stick drift at all. But as you can see, no issues there at all. And if I do the test circularity diagnostics, test slowly. Maybe I was doing it too quickly before, but the idea is the same. You just go round like this, 0.4%. Yeah. I think that's the lowest I've ever got with any controller. So that is a very simple test that you can use with any controller. I've got the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, the Wii U Pro controller, I've got PS4 controllers, I've got other random controllers, and all of those controllers can be tested with this free website tool. It's very, very easy to use, so I do recommend it. It is worth noting, though, that these types of tools, stick drift tools, controller tools, you'll see them everywhere. There's applications for this on Xbox, PlayStation, you'll see on Windows, Mac, etc. There's lots of different ways to test your controller, but that's a good one to use, and it's one that I can recommend. But ultimately, the thing to test here is, whatever app you're using, test your controller. Especially if you get an older controller and it just doesn't feel right, don't just speculate. Do some testing and just see how bad that issue is. Sometimes with the game that you're playing, or the way that you hold the controller, or the way that you're holding your thumbsticks, you don't recognize it's as big as a problem as it really is. So it is good to get some figures behind it and see, how bad the problem is. So I hope you found this video useful. Please do stay tuned for a future review of this. I'm going to use it for a few weeks, to get used to the controller more, before I make any quick, rash decisions on what's good and what's bad. But I hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. Please feel free to share any other controller testing tools that you recommend down below in the comment area. And until next time, take care.